with new things, you know, so.
Gets in the way very quickly. Any others?
I got one.
Yes, ma'am.
I talked to my sister this week and she sounded almost normal. I was so excited. She got mad when I asked her if she was eating anything because she doesn't eat hardly anything. But her voice sounded strong and so we've been praying really hard for her. And so thank you for the prayers.
You bet. It's good news. Good. Anybody else? Then we're on about page number 2, I think, and question number 7, or 8, I think. So why don't we reread Ecclesiastes 5:18-20, since that's just a short little verb there. And we'll read the note from Dr. Luther, and then we'll answer question 8. How's that?
Then I realized that it is good and proper for a man to eat and drink and to find satisfaction in his toilsome labor under the sun during the few days of life God has given him, for this is his lot. Moreover, when God gives any man wealth and possessions and enables him to enjoy them, to accept his lot and be happy in his work, this is a gift of God. He seldom reflects on the days of his life because God keeps him occupied with gladness of heart.
Okay. So Dr. Martin Luther said in his commentary of Ecclesiastes, the proper contempt of the world is not that of the man who lives in solitude away from human society, nor is the proper contempt of gold that of the man who throws it away or who abstains from money, but that of the man who lives his life in the midst of these things and yet is not carried away by his affection for them. So there I think you have a beautiful picture of our relationship to wealth and things and such, and so we don't have to chunk it all into the ditch and be done with it and live pauper-wise. As he says, the bottom line is, we're not carried away by the affection for all these things. So there's nothing wrong with them as such. It's just the love of them and that type of deal. So number 8. Describe a person who loves the things of this world and is carried away by his affection for them. Then describe one who's able to live this life enthusiastically without being carried away by his affection for pleasure or wealth. What are the controlling factors in each case? So do you know anybody who is carried away by his affection for the things of the world? We all do.
Almost everybody.
All right, all of us, okay? We don't like to admit that. We like to point out other people, but
Yeah, and I was thinking, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, and a couple of the other guys, you know, they're so rich, and it's all establishing themselves as being the greatest leader, you know, and, you know, the servitude heart is what Christ really loves to see in a person. Christ got down and washed the feet of his disciples, teaching us that and everything, and so, you know, it's very difficult for one not to fall in love with the money and that, you know, I am in need of it, and if I do need it, I'm going to just shell out a little bit and I will have it. Failing to see that it was all a gift from God to begin with. When you erase or when you divide that line, this is not from God, this is what I bought myself. Oh my, you know, it's so easy. I'm sorry, I wanted to shut up.
okay. But you began by saying this is everybody's problem, and then you said Elon Musk and those other guys. So do we have the problem with loving, being affectionate for the things of the world? Do we?
Yes.
You don't have to be rich.
You don't have to be rich to have those affections for the things of the world. Okay.
Always remember
But
that.
especially when they're hurting others and doing it. I mean, that they're doing.
Okay.
You know, not helping, but hurting others, or the way they go about accumulating themselves.
Okay. They, yes, sir.
I remember last saying that deal with the whole, I guess you determine as the street person who was fighting over his garbage.
Okay. Yes. And so even on that level, your affections.
It doesn't matter how much you have, you fight to keep it.
Let somebody die and see how quick.
Yep. Without a will. Sonny.
Sometimes even.
America's great people in here.
Is what? not bad either. We're gonna change that? Yep, and the groves that, this is part of Central Texas and part of Texas to be even part of. Cindy?
Well, but you also look at, it doesn't have to be welfare, pleasure, but you look at professional athletes, and they have all the acclaim and they have all the money, and then after their career's over, they're like, some of them just descend into
Poverty.
after problem,
Yep, all kinds of problems. Some of them into poverty because they don't know how to not live on $82 billion a year. And
Right.
yep,
And you'd said that before, that they don't know what to do with themselves and they don't have the accolades and the crowds cheering them on.
mm-hmm. Yep,
Look at
Or what, 40
Good.
years ago?
lottery winners.
yes, lottery winners that broke and went however long.
Huh? Yeah, because they get all their friends and relatives all.
Yep, my 14th cousin twice removed, whatever. Yes, sir.
40 years ago, a song came out or something, Keeping Up with the Joneses, we are so taken by, we've got to compare ourselves to our neighbor. And why would you want to compare yourself to your neighbor when you know how much Christ loves you? And that neighbor can't give me anything what Christ has done for me, and I
Right.
will. So why do I want to compare? Why do I want people to think that I am equal to them in status when you know how much that Christ loves you?
Right. You got even more wealth.
Hey.
Right.
Me first and kingdom of God and all these things.
Yep.
There we go.
And the interesting thing is, I heard, maybe you don't hear, maybe you didn't mean it that way, I kept hearing they. So the question is, how about us? You and me, are we ever carried away by our affections of the things we have? Our new house, our new car, our new boat, our new clothes, our new whatever, the millions of dollars we make per year, the millions of dollars we own, the millions of dollars, blah, 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 blah. Yeah,
Or all you can eat buffets,
there you go.
And then you get it, and then you're a slave to it too.
Yeah, you can be a slave to it very quickly. You just got to upkeep and insure and all that stuff.
Worry about somebody coming and taking.
Somebody's gonna come and get it. Yep, yep, yep.
How about your phone?
How about your phone?
Oh,
I didn't even bring my ticket,
What? You didn't go home and get it?
no,
Well, somebody has to call you.
they can.
Well, me and Keith just have one, and I asked him if he needed it today, and he said, what for? So I brought it with me.
Good.
I have it just in case something happens to me in between here and
Yeah,
there.
exactly. That's a wise thing.
You'll never get Russ to answer his phone. He doesn't hear it half the time. But before his hearing got really bad, he called the phone his leash.
Yes,
He does not like the phone.
true.
Yep.
Runs our lives.
That's
So,
all that.
And that is sad.
If they don't recognize your number, they'll be wrong answer.
true. They don't know your number. That's true too. You don't answer.
Maybe they did recognize your
And then they answer.
That's like possibility. I was giving myself a-
Good old grace, right? So what's the controlling factor in all this? Affection for our things and or not to be carried away by the things of pleasure and wealth. So the bottom line, the controlling factor would be what? What?
desire.
Greed, desire, okay?
Envy.
Respect, envy. And on the positive side, you respect what else would be the controlling factor?
perspective.
Oh, perspective, okay. I was respecting what? Desiring the wrong thing. And
But
so-
now, all desire is not evil.
No.
We can't say, because then God give us the desires of our heart.
Yes. But not all desires are evil, but you have to
Desires
sit
there
there.
that He really wants us to have. Now, we could take it the wrong way and evilly seek out those sinful things or wrongful things that aren't in line with what Christ has for us. So and try and just look at that word desire. Is it wrong to have a desire? No, it's not. But it needs to be God pleasing.
Right. So it boils down to the fact, is it God pleasing? Are we good stewards of the things He gave us again?
Right.
And are they godly desires, not sinful desires? Yes, ma'am.
But God gives us these things to do to keep us occupied. That's what that last verse said. God keeps him occupied with gladness of heart.
Yeah.
So if you're not occupied, you're a lot more miserable, I believe, than when you are occupied.
what's that border? What's the word?
Idle hands are the
Idle
devil's-
hands are the devil's
idle
workshop.
The devil's workshop.
Yep. So if we don't have something to do, then we find something to do.
Or the devil.
Something, yeah, that's what I mean. We'll find something that the devil will tempt us, and so we have nothing else to do. Knocking over mailboxes or destroying stuff is cool or whatever. Yes. Okay. So, bottom line would be, as Dr. Luke, I think Dr. Lucas' quote's incredible. That we live and miss these things as long as they don't carry us away. So the problem is being carried away by all these things. Yep. So any other thoughts on that?
Well, I find it ironic in our pursuit of money and things, it really is, we're looking for power
Mm-hmm.
when we haven't had it all. There is no power.
Okay.
It's a false
Mm-hmm.
premise.
We find that out too late usually, but it's, yep. We think we want to have it and all that, and then it's not what it all cracked up to be. Like somebody said, then you got to take care of it. And you got to be slave to it, like phone, your leash.
And many times you do it just simply to impress other people or to keep up with the Joneses, like the expression says. I read a comment by C.S. Lewis this week, but I can't remember it. I wish I would have written it down. It's pertaining to that research, to things to impress others.
Mm-hmm.
And we get to that point and then we're still not satisfied.
All right. And the sad part is they might not be impressed.
They might, maybe not. And they may not care, well, they probably don't care. They don't care what we have.
Right.
That's right.
I bought an
And then it gets
86.
to the point where they're envious of you, and then, I mean, it's just back and forth.
Okay. They're trying to keep up with us. We're the Joneses. We thought they were the Joneses. And it might be, yes, we might not have all the money. We think, why would they want to be keeping up with us? They see we've got a good marriage. They want to keep up. Theirs
Or
is not
contentment
good.
or
Or a good family, or a good job, or just happy with life. I don't have the disease I got to be worried about. I'm just happy with my little slice I have right here. That's all we need. I've got 2 garbage dumpsters, and nobody's busted into them. Right?
But getting back to the authority though, that is so true that we want the authority, we want the respect of others and everything. But really a true Christian would only be considered about the authority of Christ in their life. And everything they do then is a reflection of Christ's authority in our life. With His Word in our hands, we should live that Christ-like life, that we reflect Christ in everything that we do, and not let the world get in the way. I tell you, how can you compare the love of Christ and what He gives to us than anything that money can buy?
Right.
And it's just impossible to even try to compare those two different things. That you can have all the money in the world, and you're never going to have, what Christ gave us undeservingly.
Yeah.
That love is worth more. And so I think the successful man is one who reflects the love of Christ in everything that he does.
Right? But even as us Christians, sometimes we forget that love of Christ and
And you're on the same, he just keeps trying to pull us away.
Yep.
He never gives up.
Nope.
Constantly a little short.
He's hard to drown. Hard to drown. Okay. So you got that all figured out? You got sheets, Miss Mary? Michael, go. Tomorrow I'll give you some. So I know there's about 800 of them back there still, because for some reason I copied them twice. Anyway. Ecclesiastes 6, what anybody else? Everybody else has books have been on for 14 weeks now. Just a couple. Ecclesiastes 6, 1 to 12. So I read that to us, and then we'll answer those questions, and we'll call this session complete. Maybe today, maybe next week.
I have seen another evil under the sun, and it weighs heavily on men. God gives a man wealth, possessions, and honor, so that he lacks nothing his heart desires. But God does not enable him to enjoy them, and a stranger enjoys them instead. This is meaningless, a grievous evil. A man may have 100 children and live many years, yet no matter how long he lives, if he cannot enjoy his prosperity and does not receive proper burial, I say a stillborn child is better off than he. It comes without meaning, it departs in darkness, and in darkness its name is shrouded. Though it never saw the sun or knew anything, it has more rest than does that man, even if he lives 1,000 years twice over, but fails to enjoy his prosperity. Do not all go to the same place? I'm sorry, how far does it go?
All right.
All man's efforts are for his mouth, yet his appetite is never satisfied. What advantage has a wise man over a fool? What does a poor man gain by knowing how to conduct himself before others? Better what the eye sees than the roving of the appetite. This too is meaningless, a chasing after the wind. Whatever exists has already been named, and what man is has been known. No man can contend with one who is stronger than he. The more the words, the less the meaning, and how does it profit anyone? For who knows what is good for a man in life during the few and meaningless days he passes through like a shadow? Who can tell him what will happen under the sun after he is gone?
Okay.
Ooh, that's
A lot of good stuff in there. So foolishness is pursuing wealth, the preacher goes on here. We'll try to apply it to ourselves as we even talk about them. But anyway, number 9. For many men under the sun, quote unquote, accumulating wealth is very important. But what often happens? Verses 1 through 6, I won't read them to you again, but what happens oftentimes?
Someone else enjoys it.
Someone else enjoys it. Yeah. Not just sometimes, that's how it always happens. You enjoy the stuff your parents will down to you or whatever, and your kids or whatever, family, nieces, nephews, uncles, cousins will enjoy what we will down to the next generation. And yes, ma'am.
We're also not content with that. Once we have what we thought we wanted, we want something else.
Yes.
More, all the time.
Hey, and somebody said you see that especially in wills, right? You get 100 of what the state was left over, whatever, and you try to see how we can squeeze out 2 other people so I can get a 98 or a 101th of it or whatever, 98, whatever way you go. More of it, right? And so whatever we can do. So we're not content. And again, the content is not a bad thing, right? You're not content when you earned your first dollar and you framed it, whatever people do, and put it up on the wall, as some companies do. So it's that we don't stop that contentment, but it's that again, that sinful passion, that sinful desire, that, as Luther said, that affection, that improper affection that draws us away. So we got to be sure we're not carried away by those affections. Yes, never satisfied. What else happens about for the man under the sun? Have 100 kids and no big wolf, right? It all comes, all goes. He comes in darkness and he leaves in darkness. Thanks, I came into the world and but naked, I'm going to go out of the world, right? Easy as that. No U-Hauls, as we said last week.
All these storage buildings.
All these storage buildings. And guess what the kids are going to have to do? Go fill that garbage. Where did we saw? We saw that we saw that recently. I won't tell you where, so you won't know who it is. Found an 80-foot roll-off dumpster dumped in their yard the other day. And guess what they're doing? They're going through mom and dad's junk. Now they're going 80 foot's probably too long. However long a roll-off dumpster is.
Yeah.
But you must think they got a lot of stuff to get rid of. So yeah. So, yeah.
The things that are important and sentimental to us mean nothing
Yep.
to them.
Indeed.
And what they think is so important now, it'll be the same way for them when that.
True.
For the next people.
Yep.
Behind them.
In our home, I'll just confess this, Debbie, here, we got 3 sets of china. China. Come from, her dad brought some of that home from the war and all that stuff.
I bought
Beautiful, and we got China for our wedding. For our wedding gifts, we had to register for China. We had our biggest fights picking out what that stinking China was gonna look like. 'Cause I don't eat off of birds. I don't eat off of birds and leaves and roses. I just give me a white plate, that's all I need. And we got the pretty blue stuff. It was pretty. It's got the on the edge. How many times we used it? None, because you break a piece, you can't replace it, and then your 22-piece set's all down. And guess what the girls are gonna do for that? Michael doesn't want, I'm sure, because probably Rebecca's got her mom's china and her grandma's china coming to her too. It just goes to a garage sale, and we've been to garage sales where we get a nickel a piece. Right?
Nobody registers for China anymore.
Fruit!
No, because they use paper plates.
Fruit! So the big thing we're truck Louis Jr. Buy diapers, right? The showers are now diaper showers and stuff. We don't register for all this stuff because diapers literally gold. Anyway, so yes, I done got me all riled up on that. So maybe I was sell it to China cheap. We'll sell it to you cheap. Maybe more than a nickel a piece. Or just come get it, yeah. eBay, there you go. So anyway, okay. So it goes to somebody else, they do what they want, it might not be the way we wanted it done. That's even why you gotta write your will that way, right? You got wills, attorneys will say, I wanna write my will so that Joe only gets the money when he's 47 years old and only gets the 12th of it every year because I think he's a loser. So we do that, don't we? Because we know what's gonna happen.
And the cat gets the summer house.
There you go.
When does it become sinful? Because keeping things that mean something to you,
Right.
even though they don't mean something to anybody else,
Right.
is not necessarily
True. True.
I mean, I've got things that I keep that just remind me of the person
Yes.
that I associate with.
That's like, sometimes
It's not
I
ordinary.
wonder if I'm gonna need to put Granny Talkman, this belongs to Granny Talkman, write it on there somewhere where the next generation don't know why I saved it.
Yep. So no, there's nothing wrong with saving 3 sets of China or whatever. I just went on the fact that the next generation will have its meaning to
It's
them.
not gonna mean the same to
Right.
everybody else.
You know, when Aunt Martha passed away, I think all of the kids got a plate, a dessert plate, a saucer, and a cup from Sunset.
Mhm.
We got one plate.
Yeah.
Everybody else got one plate. What are we
There's
supposed to do with it?
a meaningfulness of it.
Well, if it reminds you of her,
They
then
were-
it's
I didn't even know her.
If it doesn't remind you of it, then it's, give it to somebody who's got another plate and they got 2 sets.
There you go.
Well, I'm gonna give you mine, then you'll have 30.
Yes, ma'am.
The most precious thing I own is my Aunt Lydia's dining room table and chair. She had written on the dining room table in black magic marker the dimensions of that table. I will never redo that table. It will be there forever.
Okay.
But that's not monetary.
Yes.
Did she have scriptures on it?
No scriptures on the table,
Just
mainly
everywhere else.
because it was covered up with stuff. But they never used it to eat on, I don't think, maybe years and years ago, but that is precious to me. And it's got pride of place in my home.
Yes. There's nothing wrong with that. I was going on, the next generation might not, something like that they might want.
Well,
My golf topic was bad. I went off the key parts.
Remind me of a great example of this is a dining room table, the old tables. What did you used to see on them all the time? A table cover to protect the table. Well, you covered it all your life, nobody ever knew what it really looked like. You should have left it off and used it and enjoyed it with the beauty that it had. When you put so much value in that table, you cover it with the cheapest tablecloth that you can find, and nobody else really enjoys it. You know, that's kind of a life lesson too. Let your light shine
Right.
on in. You know, so.
I think the table that I got that was Granny Talkman, it looks different now because Keith did redo it. But anyway, it was used. All them kids sat around it. Don't you think they all sat around it?
I don't remember.
You don't remember? I don't really remember either, but I think they did use it.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it was really in rough shape by the time I got it. But anyway, I'm kinda like she is. It's really special to me. I wanted it for
Yeah.
years and years and years, and Cora had it, and then when she passed, I got it. But anyway.
It's an important thing.
It's important to me. It's
Yes.
not important to anybody else.
So it's all important, it's good, and we have these things, but I think 1 through 6 says that the next generation, 2 or 3, might not matter to them.
Have your younger generations indicated to you, like mine have, not to leave them all that junk? I've been warned.
Leave us the money, that's all we need.
I think
We don't want you junk.
taking over our stuff, so telling us what they want.
Put their tag on it, right, their label?
Mine, when he gets it, he's gonna have to work for it, because he's gonna have to dig his line there.
True. Number 10, is it common today for people to pursue wealth as an end in itself? Why or why not?
It's not wrong.
Is it common for people today to pursue wealth as an end in itself?
Yes.
Yeah. Because then,
society teaches us that.
if that's the end of the whole thing, then you kind of lost the idea of why the Lord blesses us and stewardship and sharing and all those things, right?
And then they don't have any time for anything.
Okay, don't have time for anything else.
And it's amazing to me that the government is trying to emulate God, and they want to be the provider for everybody and give them everything that they need, as long as they are held up to be God.
Okay?
And it's like, wait, that's once again Satan taking the example of God in his perfect world and trying to hijack it for himself.
Okay? So God is indeed the giver of all good things.
Even the desire thereof. I want to learn that. You know, I mean, getting back to that, you know, do I have a desire in my heart? Is this something God wants me to have? Or is it only evil that I want anything in this world?
That'd be a
God
godly
has a
desire
plan
to
to
have.
prosper us, the Bible says. I have a plan to prosper it. And there I go to build a mansion for you. He wants us to have nice things. He has provided everything on this earth for us so far. And when we get to the next world, He's already got our house or mansion planned and provided for us. So I think that's the main thing there is we just need to remember that all things come from God.
Okay, so the bottom line is yes, how we steward them, how we use them. If we got little or a lot in our minds, yes. Now He would have us use them for His glory, our enjoyment, yes, His glory, His kingdom. Okay, so 11. Has your appetite for material things enslaved you? Are your decisions influenced by a lust for things? Are you anxious because you're in debt? None of us are in debt. Such a good thing. You have many things to take care of? Be honest. If you want to answer out loud, you can. If you don't know. But does our appetite for material things ever enslave us? Yeah.
In 1988, I remember a good guy telling me that if he did not make $600 every week, he didn't eat. He had a fast boat, he had a house, and a new pickup, and he was telling me at that time that he felt he had to work. He had to make more money because if he don't make this big amount, and in 88, $600 a week was big money, And, I learned from that and want to say that I don't want to be held hostage by money and things. I want to be free. And, I think I've always been free on that. I've never stressed about not having things, new pickups and new cars and, that helped me way back there, but God has, looking back now, I say, God has provided all these things for me. It's nothing that I did. I could not even plan to get my pickup fixed. Okay, but God keeps pouring.
He works through you to be able to get your pickup fixed.
Yeah.
Or gives you the wisdom, or gives you the money to opportunity to raise the money, make the money to get it fixed, or whatever.
He gave me the good reputation I have with my mechanic to hold the bill for me until I can pay it.
Right.
So that God has provided it all for all of us. I want to say, every one of us. What do you have that God did not provide for you?
Everything.
And number two, how many times has God failed to provide for you?
Never.
So
So that's the question. Is your appetite, you can answer for yourself. Honestly, with yourself. Material things enslave you, decisions that influence, yes ma'am.
This is a little different enslaved, and all I got is junk. But I wished I didn't have all those knickknacks, because I hate dusting.
There you go.
I mean, you're enslaved to moving this junk around. And why don't I just put it in a tote and give it to Goodwill or whatever?
Right.
Instead of being enslaved, and I'm not really enslaved, because I just don't dust.
There you go. That'll fix it. Just don't worry about it.
Anyway, that's a little different than what Michael was saying, but.
Finally, I think is a picture that how we're enslaved to things, we don't know it, but
When you start accumulating this stuff, you said, oh, good, boy, I got another cowboy picture, or I got another, horse statue or whatever, and now we shouldn't have all that stuff.
yeah. And so they can be enslaving, they can lead us into decisions that we make.
A lot of those knickknacks come from your kids, so they don't know what to get you.
I know it, I tell Sonia, I have no place to hang another plaque.
Yep.
If she sees me look at some spiritual saying on a plaque at Christmas, it turns up, and I don't have a place to put it.
Hey,
Sometimes you get enslaved because, like he was talking about driving a new car, well, you can look at it like, I want reliable transportation, so I don't want to drive an old car, I want a new one.
uh-huh,
And if, where you live, you can just live anywhere, but would you rather live someplace safe? Well, places that are safe cost more,
hey,
so you enslave yourself that way.
You accumulate money, so savings and such, but you could just be planning for an unforeseen event.
yeah, so it doesn't have to. Again, having the things is not bad. So yes, you want to live in a place that might be a little safer. You want to have a car that's probably will get you from here to Temple and back maybe, or whatever. And so that doesn't be enslaving stuff, but I think the thing, again, is I'm trying to get across is that we got other things though that are enslaving us to keep up with, to take care of, to dust around or whatever. And so having a new car is not a bad thing. Having a new house is not a bad thing until, again, as Dr. Luther said, right, that becomes what our whole affection is pointed towards. It's all we live for.
I feel enslaved by the tax season. I dread tax season.
Hey,
It's something I have to do every year.
yes,
I feel like I can't get out of it.
you
I
can.
don't want to do it. I dread going to it. I don't want to look at all the money that I have to pay. You know,
Yes, all these good things.
in a sense, we all have that burden.
Yes, that's our Christian duty to give to Caesar what is Caesar's, and to God what is God's. And so how does that apply to all of our appetites for things, influenced by things, what things do, how things take us away from God, because we got to do these things before we do the God things or whatever. And so just for yourself, ask how this applies to you.
And what is that proverb that says, those who have many things are burdened by many things?
Sure.
There's a proverb in there that just says that exact thing, not one
Right.
word, of course. But yeah, the more we have, the more we're burdened by. And, you know, that's one way to look at all of this world and what it can offer. Yeah, I could be the president of the United States, but look at all of my burdens I would have.
Right.
I'm happier than the president would be.
Yep. And so the problem is when the burdens take us away from Christ, take us away from God, because those burdens are more pressing. And that's what the question is going at. Those burdens are more pressing. And how do those burdens influence our choices we make? And so we say we don't have time for God this week because we got to do that, keep that going, whatever. And so we lose it all. Or could lose it all. So 12. Ecclesiastes 6:7 tells us that our appetite for earthly food will never be satisfied. There's a typo. All the toil of man is for his mouth, yet his appetite is not satisfied. What does each of the following passages mean to you? 1 Timothy 6, the godliness with contentment is great gain. We brought nothing into the world, and we cannot take anything out of the world. But if we have food and clothing, with these we will be content. What does that say to us? content. And contentment is that the great gain, right? Contentment's the good thing. Yes, ma'am.
In Philippians, Paul talks about, it says, not that I speak in regard to need, for have learned in whatever state I am to be content.
Hey.
So Paul had to learn that, and I think we do too.
Okay. Yes. Definitely. Because Satan's going to try to learn us the other way, that you can never be content. You never have enough. And so we have to learn how to yes. Yep. Very good. Add that to your list of Bible verses here. Philippians what? 4 verse?
4 verses 11, 12, and then it goes on to
Yeah.
13 where he can do all things through Christ. But I wonder if any other versions of the Bible take that word learned and turn it into something else.
Which version do you have?
This is the New King James Version.
And we have at least one of this difference in Philippians 4:11. He says, not that I'm speaking of being in need, for I have learned in whatever situation I am to be content. Learn. Learn. Learn, learn, learn. Okay. You learn it?
Ideas learned.
Learn. Okay. Yes, learn. And then Luke 12, and he said to them, take care to be on your guard against all covetousness, for one's life does not consist in the abundance of his possessions. So again, what are we being told there by Christ himself?
Don't covet.
Don't covet. That's the Greeks, the covet. I gotta have whatever expense, whatever cost, whoever has to pay. There's my relationship with God. I have to have it. For your life, as Michael said earlier, I think, doesn't consist of the stuff you have. It consists of the fact that you're being a child of God. So we have the prize now, and we have the pension in heaven. So it's underneath the I-10
I keep
overpass.
thinking, I'm but a stranger here, heaven.
Okay.
You think of it like that,
Yep.
paying for it.
And when you're a tourist to foreign lands, you take bare minimums, don't you? Take all your recordings and stuff. And so if we're just passing through, a stranger here, heaven is my home. The note. Today's English version translates Ecclesiastes 6:9b as, it is better to be satisfied with what you have than to always be wanting something else. So, 13, are you satisfied with what you have? How can a simple, unmaterialistic life be a blessing? Could your present lifestyle be simplified? So, are you satisfied with what you have?
Yes.
Sure. We're in church. Sure.
Medicine, I'd like to simplify.
Yeah.
Okay? We would like to
It's a
simplify.
lot of work to simplify.
It's a lot of work. So you'll start tomorrow to mess with it, right? There's a lot of stuff to go through. And when you go through, then you think, well, right? I've got a whole wall of books. My goal is to get rid of them real quickly, real soon. But then you think, I say, anybody was going to look at it, take what you want, basically. With the caveat always being what? If I don't want you to have it, I'm going to keep it. So as I was thinking, I think every now and then I look at that wall of books that needs to go away, and I think, I need to keep that one. I need to keep that one. And that was great grandpa's, that was his keeper, or whatever, I need to keep that. Does Michael want it? No, but I'll keep it and then they can throw it away. So,
Accumulating stuff is expensive, getting rid of it.
yes. So nobody wants any of it, I'm gonna just,
When Michael
Put it
does
on
it, you'll
boxes.
probably be in heaven and you won't worry about it.
that's true, I don't worry about it
I
now.
don't mean worry about it, you won't think about it.
Tired of messing with it, so sooner or later you gotta do it. So,
We have to.
You know, I'm gonna have people come in tomorrow and start reconstructing my living room. They're gonna take out the carpet, put down new floors and stuff. So I had to take everything off the walls, and I have a built-in bookcase that's in the living room. And I have another small bookcase that had all my cookbooks in it. And I took everything and put it in Jeremy's room, just stacked it up, and I bet I have 4 by 5, like 2 foot at least, cookbooks I do not use cookbooks anymore. I can look everything up on the internet.
Yeah.
So, I don't wanna get rid of them, I like my cookbooks. But I don't need my cookbooks anymore, I don't know, it's crazy.
It's crazy.
There's a real interesting thing that just popped into my head about, not being able to take it with you, not having to take it with you.
Yeah. It might be some of the joy of heaven. You don't have to take it with you. Mess with upkeep and all that, right?
It's right where you left.
Yeah, maybe one way to look at it, if we knew we had to ascend into heaven of staircase, how much of this earthly stuff we want to carry with us?
Okay?
Don't let it weigh you down.
Yep, don't let it weigh you down. That's that whole idea, I think, then again, yes, that whole weighing down, that whole being consumed by it, taking care of it. Yes, yes, and yes. Okay. So, how can a simple and materialistic life be a blessing? We would say it'd be easier, right? Less stuff to take care of. But again, the guy under the bridge or whatever, who said, they scratched off
I
that.
want to say more time for others in your life.
Could
More
be.
time to take for somebody else, to help somebody else. You're not so busy trying to keep up with all of your own needs, but you have time to be a good neighbor.
Could be.
That's a blessing.
The first half of my life, I'm doing something.
Yes.
And every time I moved, I left things behind that I probably really didn't want to leave behind, I just didn't. And now I sit and I look back on those things that I left behind, and I wonder, where would I put them?
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
I don't really miss them. I think about them sometimes, but I don't really miss them.
Mm-hmm. And now in your situation, you can't move because you got too much stuff.
No, I don't really do that.
Oh, too late to move. You gotta mess with all that stuff.
How worried do we get about, other people stealing what we have?
True.
You gotta lock the doors, and windows, and security alarms, and all this stuff. But if you don't have all that stuff, you don't have as much to worry about.
Right. Yep. I told you all, my little sister's plastic surgeon, that, that was his, he went through life constantly being afraid of who's going to get him. And bodyguards and fences, and lived in River Oaks in Houston, and dogs and all that. And guess what? Somebody got him. They wanted his stuff, I guess. I don't know if they really wanted it from him, but they got him, shot him dead in his doornail. And so he did amazing stuff, recreating half her face on her beautiful body, but that was his, he was so afraid, that's what I was going to get him. And so yeah, I think Mary's right on, we gotta keep it on lock and key and hope that nobody comes and gets it. He probably had that fear all his life, yep, or since he made it big. That's why he was going to try to get his stuff. So, there you go. They need more than you do, they can have it, right?
That's exactly the way I feel when you said there was somebody wandering around in the parking lot and we needed to lock our car. I never lock my car. If they want my car, they can have my car. I've got insurance.
I always tell them put a quarter on the seat so they get something.
Well, if they want it.
Locking cars.
I figured they wanted me to help, but they're gonna have to work for it.
There you go.
My dad was used to, because he said his girl was in the house and he was a truck driver and he was gone. He left the keys in the vehicle. He said, I'd rather him get in there and drive off than bother my girl.
Yep.
You see, that's just it, it's not, I don't really care about the property so much, but these people are content with just taking the property.
Oh, yeah. Lock yourself in at night, so maybe that's.
Lock your door.
They'll be there with you and do something to you, yeah.
Hey, 14. How do non-Christians respond to a Christian who seems covetous and preoccupied with material things?
And we're hypocrites.
Hypocrites. There you go. We brought the H word real fast. There, hypocrites. Yeah. That's the. So, how do personal generosity and contentment affect your testimony about being a Christian? If you're content, happy, generous, how does that affect your testimony?
Others can see Christ's light shining through you.
Okay.
We are that shining light.
The light, and Trina said love, or who said love?
Sharing shows love.
Okay. Show love for each other. Okay. So yes, so it's very easy to have the hypocrite word tossed out, and we are. So they're being truthful. And then the generosity would be something totally different in their mind's eye. Yes, sir.
What more precious can we have in this earth than our precious time? Precious time is not bought. It's given to us by God. And when we share that precious time with others, we're given the greatest gift of all, the love.
Yep.
You know, so what do I have to give to anybody? What is better than my time and my love?
That's why they say the parenting classes and all this stuff, what your children need most is your you can buy them the whatever, the hottest, latest thing that they can't, they don't know how to do it yet, but you buy them anyway. You buy them a car when they're 12, they can't drive for 4 more years, blah, 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 blah. But the time. Yep.
I heard a story this week that a couple was getting a divorce, and the guy said, "How come? Why are you doing this to me? I gave you a new house, a new car, all the clothes you want, all this." She said, "Yeah, but you never gave me yourself."
Yep. Never the time, never gave me yourself. And so yes, so that's what I contend children would far more rather have than that, their time with mommy or daddy or something. And not just time they're on the field and you're in the stands wishing it's ready to get done. Extra innings, no, you gotta be kidding, not extra innings, no. So, yes.
Teaching them to work, teaching them to do things.
That's the reason that the juveniles would rather be in detention than
Right.
be at home.
Right. And what it, yeah. That, we shouldn't go down that rabbit hole either, but I will. Why do people join gangs?
Because it's a family.
It's a family. Somebody loves them. Somebody cares for them. Somebody's there to share time with them. Somebody's there.
To find
Yep.
your identity.
Even though they tell you to go kill people or beat up old ladies so you can get your badge or whatever, that's why we join. Yeah. We don't get that at home, which is sad. What?
The same with cults.
Cults. Yep. They love us and they treat us like dirt. But I get treated like dirt at home, but don't get no love. So, and it's not really love, it's just belonging.
In detention, they get 3 meals and a cot. So 3 hots and a cot.
3 hots and a cot.
Yeah.
And a family. They got a family there. They become a family.
Never heal them.
What?
They never heal them.
Nope. Unless they're in solitary. But anyway, yes. So, generosity, not just with stuff, but with time. Because you're right, our time is very, 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 very valuable. When I started in this business, I said all the time we had more time than money. And so you would have farmers come, it was little before my time, and literally dig a basement underneath the church using shovels and horses and stuff. Beautiful basement under the Church of St. John Lutheran Church, Cramer, Nebraska. Why? Because they had time to do it. So they would do their farming, they'd come home, and they'd go to church, and they would dig the basement. They built the basement, they finished the basement. It's the most incredible thing. I told them they'd come out and say, "Oh, baloney." But they show pictures and everything. But now we have too much money, not enough time. And so what do we say? The basement built to pay for it. Let's just get it done. Plus, we don't have any horses anymore. And time is money. So who's going to bring their horse to dig? Not me. So yes. Well, the horses to pull the skimmers that I'm sorry. Yes.
Special breed.
Special breed, a digger horse. I can find there you go. A little more. We got 8 to 10 feet deep to get there. Let's go.
Just don't let them loose. It's like them goats, you get them out there and get them clean a lot, but then they get out, and then they just go right through the neighborhood.
Clean it all. So many non-Christians see the Christian walk as a life of denial. Use Ecclesiastes 5:18 and 19 to refute in a positive way. 18 and 19 says, chapter 5, right? I'm on my wrong chapter here. 18 and 19. Behold, what I have seen to be good and fitting is to eat and drink and find enjoyment in all the toil with which one toils under the sun, the few days of his life that God has given him. For this is his lot. Everyone also to whom God has given wealth and possessions and power to enjoy them, and to accept his lot and rejoice in his toil. This is the gift of God. So how can we, in a positive way, refute the thought that the life of a Christian is a life of denial?
You're contented with what you have.
Content with what we have. So I'm not denying anything. I'm just content with what I got.
And not complain.
Not complaining about what I got. Okay?
Enjoy.
Enjoying it. Yes.
Maybe even sharing it.
Whew. Maybe even sharing it. Yes. Not maybe, but sharing it.
I read that Queen Elizabeth said, never explain, never complain, and say little.
Okay? Never explain, never complain, and say little. That just keeps you out of trouble.
She was pretty popular.
I asked my Sunday school class once what a sin was, and the answer that I got was everything. Everything's a sin.
Well, the church makes it sound, eh? All the fun stuff's a sin.
Everything's a sin.
It all, yes, it all can be if we use it wrongly.
If it's fun, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah. True.
Reminder is the love of money, not the money.
So love and
The
money.
love of money is the root of all evil. Not
Yes.
the money.
Yes. So 16, we're going to do it. The preacher realizes the silver can't satisfy. Now in 6 verse 12 he cries, who can show me what will satisfy? Our answer to him using examples from your own experience and scriptural support. So, what will satisfy? If we say this, that, and that thing, then we have to be able to also show what will satisfy somebody else. So why you do that, do on sheets. I'm just
I
going
want
to
to say the love of Christ again. I mean, how do you explain that? When you're saved, when you realize what Christ did for you on the cross, that satisfies more than anything else. You know, I've told many people that were put together like a puzzle, and until we put that last piece of puzzle in there, we're incomplete. And that last piece of puzzle was Jesus Christ.
Yes.
To have a fulfilled, complete life is when we put Christ in that life, you know, let's say, in its place. And that place should be number one, too, you know.
Yes.
If you put Christ first, then you have everything that you should ever need.
Yes. Exactly. And so we need to share with them how we do that even, right?
Sacrifice. Sacrifice.
Well, I don't want to hear the word sacrifice. You probably need to explain that.
Oh, we need this.
We might need to if we want to.
We never want to, but is it really a sacrifice when we freely give our free will and what?
No.
If it is a sacrifice, you're not doing it in the right way.
So if you, how you see the sacrifice, so we can sacrifice is sacrifices, but how do we go about it? So be our attitude towards it, right?
Yeah.
Attitude.
Attitude, yes, sir.
Abraham was going to sacrifice his son, his only son.
Yes.
That was truly sacrificial because he was going to do it.
He was going to do it, he did. And Isaac to allow himself to be sacrificed. Yes.
I want to share something.
Right.
Verse 11, the more the words, the less the meaning, and how does that profit anyone? In my walk, used to, I don't know if I intended it to be the last words, but anytime me and Keith had some kind of discussion, which would usually escalate,
Yeah.
I would come back with something. Now, I just bite my tongue and say, this is not worth any of this.
Pick your battles.
Yeah, so that verse spoke to me. And I wanted to share that with you.
Yes. And I think it goes with Queen Elizabeth, whoever said that earlier about, what did you say? I forgot already. Say little, don't complain.
Don't explain.
Oh, don't explain.
Never explain, or seldom complain, and speak little.
Speak little, yep. And so like I said earlier, that what gets me in trouble is when you keep talking, right?
Right.
If you say
If you
it,
keep explaining, you may forget what you started saying at first, and explanation may be nothing.
yeah. And when you keep talking too, then you raise other questions and you go to other places, right?
Squeaky wheel gets the oil.
Yeah.
And
We don't
remember,
like
all our gifts are from God.
everything's from God. Including Mr. James Morrow, who's going to pray us out here.
Lord God, we thank you so much for all the many blessings that you give to us. You just bless us with these
like saying, pouring them out on us here. And thank you, though, that help us not with your Holy Spirit to possess them, try to hold them, and try to make them our gods. Lord, be with us and guide us, help us to share and read your word. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thanks.